Hey, man, it's that time again. Coming upon that time again, at least. Um, if you hear, you should already know who it is, man. It's as blue as it gets, man. It's me. Okay. Took a little hiatus in the off season. You know how it is. You gotta take a little break, the detox and everything like that. And had a nice detox off season as the team did what it did, and changes were made and things like that. And we take them as they come, and it is what it is. So what that explains to us is that major changes have come as far as offense. The team, man. Saquon's no longer here. He's gone now. Many of us already came to peace with that prior season. Before this, we were ready for that beforehand, man. When contract situations, what they were, kind of dictated what things would be. So we just kind of waited to that inevitability, and we arrived to it. And Saquon's no longer here. The big major surprise, at least disappointment at all, other than him being gone from the team, of course, that this guy ended up on the Philadelphia Eagles. See, we just can't have that. Losing talent is one thing. The team losing talent, we do that. Okay, that's a regular occurrence for us. Nobody should be surprised. But the things that start to get to you is when the team starts leaving for individual or interdivision rivals and shit like that. We haven't had that real thing occur too much like that in a long while. But it's a major blow that happened now, so it's rough having to cope around that, and I've coped as best as I could, and really all that does for me myself as we get into this with your boy as blue as it gets once again is that man, it all comes back to the major changes that are coming next, and that's probably at the QB position, and that's what we're looking forward to on this end. And those are the things that are gonna come, but there's always something, right? There's always something extra that you have to worry about when you're trying to make these changes and advancements and progress towards bigger and better things. You always have to pay attention to the finer details, and the finer details right now are telling us that the Giants are just too scared to do anything. They're petrified. They have a plan, of course, somewhere in the matrix. They have a plan, and they're going to execute that plan as ever they feel to do, because that's what they do, because they own the team. And neither I or you and anybody watching this has control of what this team's going to do or can influence this team to any major impact financially or spiritually or scouting or advice, consulting, and whatnot to get John Mara, Joe Schoen, and Brian Daboll to do 100% what we want them to do. Okay, that's just not going to happen unless your name is John Mara or Steve Tisch. Let's not forget him waiting in the wings for all this to go down. Yeah, So the things that are becoming obstacles for us are things that deviate from and what we've been doing, which has been terrible, of course. But that's not going to be the theme, hopefully, going into this next season. But just a reminder what things were is that we're trying to get a new quarterback. We're trying to get some more skill position players to fill the gap that's been left now with Saquon leaving the team, even though he's a running back. And we have some receiving guys. We still need somebody who's going to fill the larger gap because he was still a receiving option. He was still one of the leading receivers on our team, whatever you may think of him in the rushing department. That's still a case. So we still need to fill that receiving portion, and then we need to try to make up some of this rushing portion that we're probably not going to get in total from like David, a Singletary. Different names in my head with Singletary, but Singletary. But that's okay. We're gonna fill. But he could surprise us, and he could be number one rushing back in the year, and all that. So we're not gonna exclude that possibilities. But more than likely are that Daniel Jones, if he is the quarterback, a lot of the stuff is gonna be dictated on what he's doing out there, if it's good or bad or terrible. Okay, that's pretty much what's gonna be. But getting away from that and talking about other options, man, there's no real way to consider how bringing something in would be a waste at this point, right? If you get a quarterback, then we know we have a quarterback. Okay. that we're going to be taking, and that's early rounds, first 1-2 rounds, something like that. First 1-2-3 rounds, apparently where they might slide, but unlikelihood of that happening with the crop of prospects that we're looking at is just not. It's not a strong chance of that actually happening. So we're talking more of the first, second rounds, which leads us to consider, third, fourth round things are less likely to occur for a quarterback change, since we do have guys like Drew Lock who set the new bar, the low bar that is set for Daniel. It's always been set for Daniel, but now it's the new bar that is set for Daniel, that Ty God is no longer, Tyrod Taylor is no longer on the team. But yeah, that's good. That's that, right? So when we talk about the changes that can come there as far as the QB situation, those are going to be earlier changes that happen. Most immediate that we're going to know is happening, because they're going to be within them first 6 picks or 47 picks from whatever might happen in the draft. They move down, something like that. Things could change, of course. But if talking from where we are right now, those are the changes we happen there. As far as getting a wide receiver, to me at this stage, man, honestly, I'm fine with that, of course, because it's more talent on this team, and to help boost up and help out the offense to become a better offense. But for me, though, it's not like we're adding help for, especially if Daniel Jones would be the quarterback in face of that for, early round wide receiver, first 2 rounds. Who knows? Wide receivers, maybe. But that's not going to be something that's, going to be, in my view, helping. It is going to help Daniel, of course, in the layman's terms, but it's not going to be something to help Daniel Jones. It's going to be something to give him less excuses at this point, because now that Saquon is gone, that's less excuse of him being behind somebody who's not reliable in the run game or something like that, or sucking up too much attention or anything, allowing the offense not to be more balanced, perhaps. Who knows, right? Okay, at this stage. But what we do know is that it's going to be one less excuse for this man to have when he's behind the fucking center and the ball is hiked and the play is in action. And he has a wide receiver here and a wide receiver there and a tight end here, or whatever else, okay? Things are going to be out there for this guy no matter what, okay? Things are going to be out there for this team no matter what, whether it's a QB, a wide receiver, or a tight end, or an offensive lineman, which is like a whole nother thing of us leading into in such an early round, at least the first round pick. It's like, man, really? Okay, then what are you getting in the second round? Or what are you moving up for in the second round? Are you moving up in the second round for a quarterback? Or are you moving up second round for one of the higher end second or late first round, early second round wide receivers, because you're already early second round or mid second round, whatever. Yeah, see, it's not, that type of thing is not with us right now. Those things aren't really a question for me as far as us right now and what we're going to be doing in the draft. I think it's pretty much written. Who and what we choose to go with is a whole nother thing. Maybe I'll get a chance to go into that another time, but just a short bop. Step back in here and let people know who do come by and everything that I am still around doing these, and it was the off season. But now we're back from the off season and we're trying to kick off with the preseason stuff, to at least with the channel, to get back into full swing for the season and to be there when the season is kicked off and to be in full swing for that. Yeah, man. This has just been a ride, man. I missed sharing a lot, but that was purposeful because like I say, it was the off season and I chilled out in the off season. I did some, in-season viewing of some of these prospects and stuff like that. So I had personal notes on them and I shared them at places and things like that. And they're relatively well received for what they were and everything, like relatively well received for what they were. So, it is what it is there. Yeah, but as far as the channel, man, we're going to get back into swing of things. Hopefully keep it up and, making the changes and improvements to the areas that we hope to. And yeah, but I just had to get that piece off. As far as us moving with this draft, man, and going into it, the obstacles are not Daniel Jones. The obstacle is not whether we should replace Daniel Jones, with another quarterback. The obstacle is not whether Daniel Jones' contract is going to expire or not because he got injured and we can't cut him because we had decided to get a wide receiver And in the course of him utilizing that wide receiver or something, these wide receivers are tight as these skill position players, whomever, this man got injured. That's not going to be the obstacle into what this team is going to try to do going into the future, or should not be. So I find confusion when I hear, discussions about if the quarterback is not taken early, then the Giants should not take a quarterback. Well, the question to me is, what later round quarterbacks are the Giants really considering that is going to be more than what Daniel Jones is challenged with now, as far as Drew Lock being the immediate backup to him? Because I did not watch everybody, but of course, if they find the most sleeper of Mahomes is out there, we're going to appreciate it. If they're going to find a sleeper Josh Allen, or a sleeper Lamar Jackson, or a sleeper whatever, there's names out there, of course, that they might have been watching at colleges that we do have not any idea what they were watching. But as far as that being an obstacle, it's not an obstacle in the course that will be with DJ, man. And I'm content with that. And I'm in complete and full understanding is that as this season goes into the draft, and we go through the draft, and we select who we select, man. Okay? For real, for real. There's so much talent, especially at the receiver position, that if the team went early with receiver, you could understand it, because there's so many guys. And there's still opportunity in the second round, depending on what happens. But as far as those guys that we might select, I don't think the second round is going to be as clear as an option. It will probably be down to like the 1 or 2 picks at that point, where you have to maybe even move up to make that pick, or you're making that pick and you're just doing it with no regrets whatsoever. And it might come down to 2 of the lesser, more impact players on the season, ideally, okay? But what that turns into, again, is not something that's going to be an obstacle as far as what will be after DJ and shit like that. Because it's time, okay? It's time, and we're ready. The team, the franchise, everybody is ready. John Mara might not be ready, but that's okay. He owns a team, so wherever the fucking team go, that dude is automatically going to be there. So it doesn't matter where fucking John Mara is, because it can't go anywhere without him, okay? Because Saquon didn't come to this team without his okay. And he's not here because he didn't give the okay. There's no confusion about these things, okay? They talk and try to say things about these players and say that they might be bad apples in the big seed of things. But honestly, when you go down to the root of it, you understand that John Mara is who he is. And that's why Daniel Jones is still here, because it's a clown show sometimes. And working past that. It's your boy, as blue as it gets. One time for you. And we out. And I'll talk to y'all again. Peace.